Welcome to the Midweek message. We're taking lessons from Ecclesiastes, the treatise of Solomon on the futility of life. And we're starting in chapter 2 today, and verses 12 through 14 is what we'll be reading. I'm reading from the Contemporary English Version of the Bible. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 12. I asked myself, what can the next king do that I haven't done? Then I decided to compare wisdom with foolishness and stupidity. And I discovered that wisdom is better than foolishness, just as light is better than darkness. Wisdom is like having two good eyes. Foolishness leaves you in the dark. But wise or foolish, we all end up the same. Solomon is telling about his search for meaning in life and the meaning of life, and expressing his frustration with trying different avenues of fulfillment. And one is wisdom, and one is pleasure, and one is being a builder of architecture and great works. And Solomon said, I became very famous, more famous than anyone that had been in Jerusalem before me. And he's picking up that thought in Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 12. We look at the verses individually. Verse 12, I asked myself, what can the next king do that I haven't done? Then I decided to compare wisdom with foolishness and stupidity. And so Solomon said, I have attained wisdom. I have been greater than all that were in Jerusalem as kings before me. And I even asked myself, what can anyone do that I haven't done? There's been no king greater. What can anyone do? What avenues could someone pursue that I haven't exhausted? With this thought in mind, he said, I decided to compare wisdom and foolishness and stupidity. In other words, the intellectual life, the life of wisdom and good application of knowledge. How does that compare to the person that just lives by their senses, and the person that just follows their gut instinct, the person that doesn't care about high thoughts? How does that comply or apply? And verse 13, and I discovered that wisdom is better than foolishness, just as light is better than darkness. So the difference between wisdom and foolishness was like light and darkness, like day and night. It is better to live a wise life than a foolish life. Sometimes people will question whether that is true, but as far as light is better than, higher than darkness, so living a wise life is better than a foolish life. And there's a lot of things in life to be gained by the proper application of one's knowledge and wise pursuits. There's a lot in life to be lost by living foolishly. So he said, wisdom is better than foolishness. I compared the two. But then in verse 14, wisdom is like having two good eyes. Foolishness leaves you in the dark. And so wisdom and knowledge are like light and darkness, like being sighted and being blind. But he had another conclusion. But wise or foolish, we all end up the same. And that is one of the difficulties that people struggle with today. They try to do right in life, try to be a good man, a good woman, and yet it all ends up in futility. And they try to make the right choices. And that is better. You can't say that it's not. But they end up the same in the end.